I think boner would be the term people use. Welcome to the official, unofficial Sea of Thieves podcast, a podcast dedicated to Sea of Thieves and other rare games, but mainly Sea of Thieves. In this episode, we will be discussing the recent 2024 preview event. So unless you have been living under a mutiny rock, you are probably well aware of this video. But I will explain it anyway. As part of the 6-year anniversary, Rare decided to show a big chunk of the content planned for 2024. This includes Season 12, 13, and even Season 14. In a nutshell, these seasons focus on giving us new weapons, new tools, and a brand new world event. It's a lot to digest, and to help me chew this chunky pineapple, I am once again assisted by my lovely co-host.
Hello everyone, it's me, AShinyRay again.
Alright, just your name this time. That's fine. That's cool. We can keep it condensed.
Well, people were expecting some sort of stupid quip, so I'm here on business.
Like a quip or some unfunny joke, like usual. But,
exactly. Yeah, I'm here on business. I'm not around today.
All right.
That's past 30 seconds. Yeah, you don't have to believe that one out.
Well, there we go. No monetization on this video. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Excited about Sea of Thieves for the first time since Season 8. So, I mean, very excited about. I've been excited about stuff in the past, but very excited about the future of Sea of Thieves after this.
Yeah, it seems the general consensus. Like, I've seen a lot of hype messages everywhere popping up. I'm sure you had the same.
Yeah. I think the some minor concerns. I think the overall reaction to this has been fantastic and has put sort of Rare, despite all the issues the game is currently having as we're recording this, has put them in a very sort of positive light. And I think people just happy we're getting actual content again.
Yeah, you can put it that way for sure. If you were to describe Sea of Thieves in 2024 with one word, what would it be?
Wouldn't be Flameheart, I'll tell you that much. One word. You've already put me on the spot here. No, you haven't, because I read the script.
No, I haven't. But... It's in the script.
Oh God, what? I'm trying to think of a word that's like sort of changes a paradigm.
Revolution.
No, God, you're gonna have to cut all this out now.
No, I won't. Unedited.
Just embarrass me. I don't want to go exciting, but different. I'm going to say different.
Different. All right, that's still boring.
It's different to what we've had for a very long time.
It is
doing
true.
A lot of things differently.
Yeah, you could also say late, because we're getting new weapons after 6 years.
I've changed it. Innovative. That's what I'm going for. Innovative.
All right. I would just say tools, but that would also be boring.
Yeah, like we're a pair of tools, aren't we?
Yeah. Flameheart would be the most PR decision to make. I'll give Mike that. That will create the most hype. But it's just a season of Flameheart, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some build-up, isn't there? Because we have to learn how all this stuff conspires and how he comes back and what he's been doing. And we've got like maybe 4 months or so to learn that. So maybe there'll be something we don't know about. Maybe.
Yeah, let's hope so. So before we dive into it proper, I want to remind our listeners that they can, if they want, financially support this podcast. You can do that by clicking on the super thanks or buying a podcast poster. The link for the poster will be in the description. So if you want that, and you're like, whoa, I've got space on my wall, I want to decorate it, you can click on that. So let's dive into Season 12 first. This season will give us some new weapons and tools that are bound to shake up the meta in a big way. But before we talk about them individually, let's just take a moment and reflect on the fact that after 6 years of having the same 4 weapons, we get 2 new ones. So how do we feel about this? Did we expect them to come eventually, or did we give up hope?
I think we gave up hope because of the hit reg situation. Which is still an issue, by the way, but I think Rare has been saving it for when they've got that problem solved. But I think as They've got more support devs on there, and it's very clear it will never be resolved. It's time to sort of, pop the cork now, smash the glass, and say, look, it's never going to be fixed. Let's just add some new weapons, because that's what we've never done before, and it's exciting.
They did mention they had a dedicated team on HitReg now, right?
They've got dedicated teams to a lot of things, like just in general in real life. It doesn't mean the issues are going to be solved. Like, people have been trying to find the cure to cancer for years, or certain drugs, and no, this is serious, but that's more serious stuff. Or trying to figure out why people yawn, but we still don't know the answers, or we have the solutions to those problems. So HitReg is just one of those things. Quite an extreme comparison, but
it's quite this.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it's going to be resolved, and I think Rare have acknowledged that it's never going to be 100%. It's not 100% in other games, so it's just how latency and internet works and server load.
Yeah, I guess so. I also gave up hope for new weapons. Like, it seemed so natural to do, like, especially in the first year. All right, we start out with these 4 basic weapons. You need to have your long range. You need to have your shotgun. Every first person shooter has a shotgun, so let's make it a blunderbuss. Pistol, cutlass, obviously, the usual suspects. And then in the first year, maybe the second year, we'll slowly add some more weapons. But no, then let's wait 6 years and let's then shake up the meta. Which I kind of feel is fun as well.
Yeah.
Because the meta will be changed a lot, and having that change after 6 years makes it feel really fresh. Otherwise, we would have the double flintlock meta for 4 years, and now it's no, you have the original meta for 6 years, and now we are going to change it up. So I think that's a good thing. Did not expect it, but I'm quite happy with it.
It did seem out of left field. Like, you'd expect like new world events, something we are getting, but new voyages, new systems, just to be added since launch. And as that sort of launch date is in the rearview mirror, you think it's very unlikely we're getting a new starting weapon. But lo and behold, 6 years later, and Rare continues to surprise us.
Yep, that's good. I always thought, oh no, if they introduce new weapons, they need to make all those cosmetics as well. Like, all those sets need to be completed. But as we have learned from Rare the recent years, they don't really care about that anymore.
Oh, don't start me on cosmetics. Why have you brought it up? I'll get out. I'm gonna say it now. They're gonna drip feed those cosmetics for months.
Yeah,
and they're gonna just be sets that we've had for years.
Yeah, not the sets we want. Like, what? Like, I've actually written it down for later, but let's discuss it now. Like, what cosmetic sets would you want for these new weapons?
Throwing knives need the Athena and Reaper daggers, I think, from the ones you throw down on the hourglass. They should be Servant and Athena rewards, but Servant and Guardian rewards. But Rare's like, nah, that makes too much sense. We won't do that. I don't know. Like, I think Silver Blade would be good, so they can bring back some insider rewards. Same with Sapphire Blade. Obsidian makes sense, but
Obsidian is going to be Twitch drops or something, I feel like,
or like giveaway stuff. But I just think they should be prepared to have loads of these ready to go before launch. But we know that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I think so too. And we didn't see any in the trailer. We just saw the basic one, which I guess it's fair. If you do the trailer, you don't want to flex your cosmetics straight away. That can be a nice surprise for later.
Yeah.
But I do hope we get a bunch. I also hope it's not going to happen, but I hope we get the Heritage cosmetics as well. Like, I think we got the Viva Pinata set fully completed now, weapons-wise, so it'd be nice to continue that trend and not wait like 5 years for them to be completed.
No, that's just reminded me. I think that opens up another can of worms where two things here. You know how we had the captaincy stuff and we haven't had captaincy rewards in ages. The latest thing is the Obsidian stuff. And I think before that, the last time we got captaincy furniture was season 8? That was like 18 months ago. Not 18 months now.
They don't really update it. Yeah.
And this, I've got the concern this is going to be the same thing. It's going to have a wave of support and then they're going to maybe dribble, and then a year later they're just not going to add new stuff for it. Granted, like I get all the resources for cosmetics go to the Emporium because that actually makes money, but also like Rare's just weakness is just releasing earnable cosmetics. They have been not in the best space for years now. And going back to the Emporium thing, they would prioritize having weapons for the Emporium over actual skins that we can earn. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but they did it with Captaincy, they'll do it with this.
Yeah, we'll get some boring cosmetics like the Bilge Red and the Sovereign daggers.
Wild Rose. Like we're still getting recolors 6 years later.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be fair. I do like the recolors of the Wild Rose set. They look cool.
By the by, great, but you're getting. How much more is there left that they can recolor at this point? I think Dark Adventure is one of the only sets that doesn't have a recolor.
Not yet. Don't give them ideas, right?
Well, it's got to happen. It should happen, but we're going on a tangent again, as per.
That's it. Well, it's fine. It's a fun tangent. I do also like your thoughts. Bring back the inside rewards and have them at the flares and the furniture as well, together with the daggers and the double barrel flintlock. That would be nice.
If you want people to test on Insider, you want people to have rewards, don't you?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the numbers are because we're not privy to this, but it certainly feels, and this is anecdotal evidence, it feels like the bugs and stuff have gone up since they stopped doing rewards on Insider, and then technically you lose loads of people who were testing the game for you, but they've got no incentive anymore. And as bad as that is, that's how people feel. Insiders is a way to look at what's coming. But also, you do have dedicated players that do take the time to test things and give feedback.
Might as well to fill your hour.
Exactly. And, I wonder if that has had an impact on it with, all your most dedicated testers or AFKers just aren't testing anymore. And then you've got loads of people that are there just to catch up with the rewards or not as experienced or what have you. So anecdotally, I don't know if this is true, but it feels like that's been the case since last summer anyway.
Yeah, you could be onto something. I don't know. But having, a lot of players are still behind too on the rewards. They're not all like me, Ray.
That's true, yeah. A lot of people, I still haven't finished. I'm still working my way through the Sapphire Blade set, but, it doesn't bode well. They could, Insider's another discussion entirely.
Yep. And let's be careful before we break NDA. Let's go.
There's 3 new weapons coming to the game, and I heard there's like a grapple hook coming in, like you can sail the Burning Blade. Spoilers, just broke my NDA.
Ah, shit. Well, at least we can keep the hippos a secret. So let's go to the double barrel flintlock. This one can fire 2 shots individual before reloading, or you can charge it up for a big shot. So it has a shorter range than the flintlock and is also less powerful per shot. This weapon aims to sit between the flintlock and the blunderbuss. So are you happy with this new addition?
I think when people are asking for dual flintlock, they're asking for dual wield with 2 flintlocks and not a double-barreled one. No, in all seriousness, this one's kind of the least interesting for me because, where does it sit in the meta, right? So ideally, it should be a closer range weapon than the flintlock, but also, like you say, further range than the blunderbuss. Do I want to be firing 2 shots that don't kill someone, or would I rather fire 1 shot and then, switch to my other weapon and be more likely to kill them then? You might be able to fire 2 shots quicker, but as time to kill goes, do I want to shoot 1, 2, 3, or have the potential of 1, 2 and get the kill? I'm intrigued to see how this plays. Because if the double shot does enough damage to follow up with a sword strike, that's going to be really powerful for repelling borders. On the other hand, the projectile seems a bit slower, so is it going to hit Reg more? Puzzled with this one. It's cool, but I would have gone for the route of 2 flintlocks and you dual wield them and you can't ADS, which would sort of function the other way. You just wouldn't have to charge up your shot to shoot, but you can aim down the sight of this one, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Well, how do you feel about it? What's your opinion? Are you intrigued as a flintlock user?
That's a good one. Like the upside is, like, I'm an Xbox player. I don't hit all my shots like some people. So if I miss like a somebody's carrying a keg and I aim for that and I miss my first shot, like I have a better chance of hitting the second one.
True.
So I might get more lucky hitting gunpowder barrels, but you do need to get a feel for the distance, and I don't have that from watching the trailer yet. And we also don't know the exact numbers. From a pirate feel perspective, I agree with you. Like 2 flintlocks would have been better. I think you can still make it aim down sights with a double flintlock, but then have other downsides to it. I feel that would be a bit more nicer. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, yeah, it's okay, but I need to play with it to form a proper opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a video that's going out as we're recording this evening, and it's sort of just focusing on one of the tools later on. But by the by, I think my biggest concern when they add anything like this is that it's so underpowered they might as well not have added it. Obviously, you do run the risk of making it quite frustrating if you make something too powerful. But if you're adding something like starting weapons, it needs to feel as good as, if not better than, the current meta or a good utility. Otherwise, you end up with something that just, it doesn't feel like new content because there's no incentive to use it. There was this issue of Halo Infinite that a lot of the sort of weapons didn't feel useful in the sandbox because they overtuned them, and therefore they might as well not exist because no one uses them and there's no utility for them. And that is my concern with adding new starting weapons, and specifically with this one, because I don't know where it's at.
Yeah. I do feel it might be good for sloop players, because as a sloop player you usually go blunderbuss for to repel borders. But if I'm on galleon, I tend to switch to my flintlock because I like the distance. I want to hit gunpowder barrels from a distance. So you can do that with the double barrel flintlock, and you can also guard with it if you charge up your shots. So it might be good for sloop players, this one. Yeah.
I think, again, part of the anxiety lies with, you're shooting 2 projectiles this time, and now that's twice as much chance for one of them not to count. And I know they do fire side by side, but they are still individual projectiles, right? They still both have the potential not to register. And part of the issue also comes from the Eye of Reach just being the better ranged weapon out of all of them. So there's no point in using the flintlock statistically over an Eye of Reach, because the Eye of Reach does what the flintlock does in the same range, but you have the ability to fire long range with it, and the projectile is faster, so that's less likely to hit reg. Yeah, you reload faster with that, and you've got better hip fire, but the ADS is so fast on the Eye of Reach that it's a close range weapon, and that's what we all use it for, as well as that long range. So this is, again, why would I choose a double barrel flintlock over something like that? If the Eye of Reach does that reliable damage.
They might nerf it.
They might nerf it, but then does that make the Eye of Reach crap again like it used to be at launch?
Could be. If they slow down the projectile speed, it would be a different weapon.
The issue, for those of you who don't know, the Eye of Reach at launch had a lot less damage and felt like a pistol with a scope. Then it also had knockback. So they removed the knockback, they increased the damage to about 70. I think it's 70 as it is of now, 70 out of 100 health. And that made it feel like a better weapon. But the concern is they revert on that just to tune it around this new weapon, and it becomes useless. It's a fine balance, isn't it?
We'll see. And we also don't know the exact numbers. Do you think Rare will give those numbers to us?
No. They've never given us the numbers for the original weapons. You just have to work it out by using a little ruler on your health bar when you get shot.
That
looks like 70 to me.
I'm going to bet Fuzzy's going to release a video as soon as these weapons come out.
I give it Fuzzy, Blurbs, guide channels. They will have the tests done on the day they come out.
Yeah.
They'll just need to get footage. Yeah.
Not me, though.
No, I'll just be talking about how shit the season pass is.
Of course. That's our content.
That's the most important thing. No, I think the season's going to be good. And I can imagine, bugs aside, I imagine this is going to have a good review when it comes out from me.
All right. Let's go to the next one. And that's throwing knives. And this is more exciting because this feels more piratey. So the throwing knives, you can use them as a melee attack. They have two attacks as a melee weapon, a light one and a heavy one. I like the animation on the heavy one, by the way. It's like it feels like it should be in a more adult game, that animation, than Sea of Thieves. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with it. You can also throw them, which is the coolest part. No, the coolest part is you can throw them and you can pull them out again. So if somebody misses their hit on you, you can pull out their throwing knives and throw it back. And I'm sure we'll get a lot of exciting adventures that way. You excited by these knives?
Yeah, I think as long as they do decent damage, I will go throwing knife and cutlass build. I think
Ooh.
they excite me very heavily. I think they're really cool. I think the throwing knife action probably going to hit Reg a lot because of the slowest projectile speed. But I do think when you hit that throwing knife and you can follow it with sword, it's like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. The stab looks also quite satisfying as well. The heavy stab, sorry. The light stab, not entirely sure about because, I think
Range.
not so much range. It's going to be tough to balance against the cutlass because the cutlass can block, can't it? And it will obviously be able to block the stabs. It'd be a bit weird if it didn't. And when the cutlass was 20, it was okay at launch, but with how the game's progressed, it needs to be 25 to feel viable. If this is a 5-shot kill, it's going to feel very slow. If it's less, that stab's going to be useless. That's the bit I'm concerned about. But the rest of it seems pretty cool. You've got the ability to throw knives now and retrieve them if you miss. Yeah, I think that's going to be really fun to use. I know other people that want to do melee builds as well. So you've got the cutlass mobility as well, plus the ability to have a secondary melee.
Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure what my combination is going to be. Whatever feels most piratey. Do we know how many of these daggers we have?
I can't remember in the trailer, but I imagine 5, like everything else. Obviously, the double barrel would have 6 shots. But yeah, I'm not sure about the throwing knives. 5 would make sense, right?
Will it have 6, a double barrel?
Well, it won't have an odd number. Could have 4, but I think that's really nerf then, because you only got 4 shots and they're weaker than you.
It could be an odd number. I mean, why not?
Well, if you had 5 and you double shot, and then you'd only be able to use a single shot, I don't think that'd be very fair for something that does the least amount of damage out of any pistol.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it can't do more than 55, because then the 2 quick shots would be... Sorry, it can't be any more than 50, because 2 quick shots would kill someone.
Yeah.
Or one charge would be an insta-kill.
Yeah. It would be cool if with the knives, like the access knives you put in your mouth, that would be cool visual.
Oh, that would be cool.
But they're not going to do it.
What do you think they'll do with the weapon pose emotes? Because they're based on your slots, aren't they? Are you there?
I'm there. I'm just thinking.
The pistol, the double barrel could just use the pistol animations, but knives, they look kind of silly with the sword ones sometimes, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I don't know. They'll probably add new emotes for these weapons.
You'd probably have to pay more for them, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Emote packs would go up.
Yeah. We'll see. Can you block with them? Yeah, sorry.
Will you be using the knives?
I think so.
I think
it feels piratey.
It was piratey and they're really cool. And the throwing animation's sick as well.
I'm more looking forward to using somebody else's knives against them.
Or picking up the ones I miss.
Yeah. Oh, can you do that too? Like from a friendly crew?
Oh, I don't know. I imagine so. It's a physical object in the world.
Because if you have like a cutlass and a flintlock equipped and somebody throws a knife, you can grab it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can grab it. So at that moment, you have 3 different weapons on you, right? So if you throw your daggers in the moss, and we can pick them up, and then we have an extra throwable, which we can, use. That's an extra shot for us, right?
I think that's a perfectly valid use of the weapon. Obviously, I would have less throwing knives to use, but my crewmates would be able to use them as well. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, something to think about. Either way, it's going to shake up the meta in a big way.
Yeah, I think these are going to be the most impactful. And we'll see a lot of new players using them for coolness, but I think this will probably have the highest skill gap out of any weapon.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Do you know if you can block with these throwing knives?
I don't think you can. They didn't mention it in the trailer. It would be a bit overpowered. Oh, no, you wouldn't be able to block because you'd have to hold down the left trigger to aim, wouldn't you? To throw them.
Oh, yeah.
Because right trigger would be, or right trigger, or right mouse button, or left mouse button. The attack button would be a stab. Holding it down would be a heavy stab like you do with a lunge. And the aim button would have to be aiming rather than blocking because, you know, you can't just throw it with one button, can you?
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. No blocking with it.
But will we be able to sword hop with them, is the question. You know, the block hop.
Yeah, I know, the block hop.
And will we be able to launch ourselves with them?
You can't hop with blunderbombs, right?
With blunderbombs?
Yeah, because you aim them in the same way as the daggers, right?
Okay, that probably answers that question.
Yeah, so no, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Here, all the answers that were in the trailer are here on this podcast.
There we go, you know.
Anything else you want to mention about the weapons?
No, I think I've covered everything there from my perspective. Anything from yourself?
No, I think we talked about everything.
Cool.
Let's go to the scatter shot. And this one has 4 balls in 1 sec, or 4 balls in 1 net.
You were writing that with a shit-eating grin. I can tell you that now. You're so proud of yourself.
I am.
Ugh.
I am so funny. So these are an ammunition type for your cannons. They're short distance. They do 1 level holes. It's great for draining resources, they told us. Keeps 1 person repairing. And I think it's going to be a good combination with regular cannonballs. But how do you feel about it?
Yeah, pretty cool. Interested to see how they actually perform on the battlefield. Or on the wave, should I say. There's no fields involved. This, believe it or not, is probably a little buff for the sleuths because they can get underneath a galleon's cannon line and hit these with quite good effect. I think the randomness will probably balance them out as well. Because imagine if you just shot 4 cannonballs in like a cone or like a sort of like a V shape. That would be so powerful. But the randomness makes it feel like, oh, you know, like in Pirates of the Caribbean when there's stuff in the cutlery and shit in the cannonballs at the end. It feels like that. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
They don't look overly powerful. They feel like a good sort of offensive and defensive tool for close range compared to the regular cannonballs.
Yeah, I think so too. Like when you're in PvP combat and you're close, like, oh, we're close, let's throw in some of DVD's scatter shots.
Yeah, and I think as well they closer range because they arc. You would be able to hit people through like high waves and shit, which is a source of frustration for me. I don't like that element of the game, and that'll be interesting to see that be alleviated. At least from what I can tell from the arcs, unless they're still a bit too close, let's say, and you're too high.
Aye. And they do, when they hit first, they do 1 level holes, but there's a maximum of a 2 level hole, right?
Yeah, so that obviously implies there's no tier 3 hole. I think if they did tier 3 holes, that'd be far too overpowered.
Yeah, it would.
And
yes.
it leaves the cannonball in a sort of different damage range where it goes tier 2, then tier 3 instead. It creates good rolls for the ammunition, I think.
Aye. Anything else you want to talk about Scattershot?
Do you think we will be starting with them?
That's a good question. I think yes.
Yeah, I think it's worth having it as an extra slot, and I do think we should be able to buy them from the captain, from the what do you call it? What are they called? Shipwright. Yeah, the shipwright.
Yep.
I think that would be a good addition to the supplies, and it just sort of allows people to access the tool instantly rather than having to find them out in the world. There is something to be said about that, but it's nice knowing that, day one, there's no RNG involved in experiencing this. We can get this on demand by, just by buying it or starting with it, let's say.
I think starting with it, same like the chain shots, throw a couple in there just for something to try it out as well. So you kind of know what it does, and then you find and like, oh, hey, that's a thing that's already there that I tested out.
follow-up question. Do you think
Yeah.
the chain shots and the scatter shots will share a sort of stack in your inventory, or do you think you'll be able to carry 5 of each?
No, ooh, um, I think you should be able to carry 5 of each. Yeah.
Well, I think mixed, but when you select them on your radial, they have separate slots.
With a maximum of 5 combined then.
Yeah, so you could have 3 and 2 or 4 and 1 or, 5 of one or the other. Yeah, and then you can just select the individual ones, but, you've still got a maximum of 5 between the two.
Yeah.
Because imagine having 5 chain shots and then, you've got curse cannibals, you've got 10 cannibals, you can have phantom cannibals, you can have, the wraith cannibals, and you can have scatter shots all without leaving the cannon. I think that'd be a bit powerful.
And don't forget the bone collar.
And the bone core as well, but that's in throwables, isn't it? So I imagine that'll take up that slot.
Which is a nice segue to the bone collar.
Yeah, very smooth.
That's how I roll. So the bone collar is also a new throwable, which you can also shoot from the cannons. You can throw them like firebombs and blunderbombs, but you can shoot them. They will summon skeletons that will fight for you. They can also fight enemy skeletons if they have thrown a bone collar. They can spawn on islands, and they can even spawn on ships. And I have to get one thing out of my system, and I already told you this. It sounds like a brand of Viagra to me. The bone collar.
They're going to be called fucking boner balls when they come out, aren't they? Shoot some boners at them. That's what it's going to be, isn't it? Throwing a boner. We've just been boned.
Yeah, throwing a bone. I think boner would be the term people use.
I've coined it. Every time someone uses it, 5p in my bank account, please.
But still, the bone collar. I see it as a marketing stunt. Now the bone collar, 50% off. Get your bone calling. Get it.
Remember, if your skeletons last for over 5 hours, consult a doctor. Send a support ticket.
Oh well, but it's good. It feels Rare, right? Rare has these innuendos thrown in their games, and this feels like one to me. But I don't know.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves hasn't got as the classic Rare ones because it's quite kid friendly. But I do agree with you there. This is a little Rare moment, like Captain Quick Dickin, which is also removed because people complained about it. Actually, they complained about the censoring of ship names, and Rare were like, "Oh, yeah, fine. One rule for us and one rule for thee."
But let's talk about the actual use of the bone collar. Do you like it? Do you think it's a good tool?
Yeah, I've seen some concerns about this, and I sort of get where they're coming from, because they don't like PvE in their PvP. I'm very much of the opinion that anything that spices up the sandbox, as long as it's not too powerful, be it PvE, PvP, curse balls, harpoons and shit, I'm happy to see where it goes. I trust Rare with the balancing because generally they're quite good with that sort of thing. And how cool is it just having more opportunities to interact with the sandbox? Like you fire imagine this scenario. I'm getting shot over, and then the main cannon shoots over a bone caller. Bone caller hits as I'm on the ladder, and I've got support there. Or I jump on board, or I'm playing water, and then I just chuck a bone caller, and that distracts them enough to get me on the ladder. Or you got a tucker on board, you just chuck a bone caller down. You waste your bone caller, but it can find the tucker if they're on the poop deck, on the actual main deck. Sorry, there's so many applications for this that it's going to really spice up how combat goes.
Can they walk downstairs?
They can walk all over the ship.
Okay, so they can even go below deck.
Oh, right. Surely, right. They'd be a bit shit if you go on the stairs and it's like, like a cow can't walk down the stairs. Neither can these skellies.
Yeah, but I don't think they when you board a skeleton ship, right? They can't walk down the stairs, right?
Yeah, they can.
Oh, they can.
Yeah, they can.
Oh, well, what do I know? What do I know?
Yeah, you're usually on the helm anyway, so you wouldn't do that. Not that you need to board them at this current time because they don't repair, but
Yeah, that's true. That's a different issue.
That's not a bug, by the way. Please don't fix that. Unless it's our crew on the Burning Blade, they need to repair.
There used to be a time in year 1 when skeletons didn't spawn at all on certain servers, and it was during the Skeleton Fleet event. So a lot of people exploited it by doing the Skeleton Fleet events and just shooting holes, and the ships just sank because there were no skellies to repair at all.
Yes,
You remember that?
No, I missed a bit of Curse Sales, so I don't remember that being a big thing. But you definitely played Curse Sales.
Yeah, I did, but I never used this exploit, of course.
Of course, no. You never use exploits. No, we'll never do that, ever.
Never at all.
No.
I don't even silent board. That's how good I am. I don't even silent board.
Okay, you're just being pathetic there.
Yeah. So I also think it's good. Also the balancing I trust Red too, and otherwise they will probably tweak it. The only thing I don't like is the design of the skeletons. They look the same as the other skeletons. I kind of wanted them to have a unique look, like I don't know, maybe dusty, or maybe they take over the color of the faction you're setting for. Something like that.
I agree from both a gameplay and accessibility standpoint. So, two things you need to satisfy with this. I've seen in the trailer they've got the regular bandanas from the skeleton forts. So, in a skeleton fort, what if you use them and they're all the same color? I get they've got names, but it's not the easiest thing to see in a crowd. So they need to be different design from an accessibility standpoint, and you can tell at a glance who's your skeletons, who's not. When two people have used bone callers, are they going to have the same color bandanas? Maybe not. Maybe they are. And the other thing they need to satisfy is have a different sound for when they pop. Mainly because if you are playing and you're partially sighted or blind, you could use the sound to tell which skeletons are yours and not. Currently, if they're exactly the same, you could be attacking someone that you can't damage because it's your bone caller or an enemy bone caller, let's say. You
can't damage your own scullies?
No, and they don't fight you either.
All right. The last one was obvious, but yeah, thanks.
Obviously, yeah. But yeah, I think from accessibility standpoint, that needs to be prioritized because it's not just for people who are who are disabled; it's for everyone. That benefits from that, regardless of your sort of your hearing and sight ability.
Yeah. I hope they do. I hope they did change the design both visually and
auditively.
Auditively, is that a word?
Maybe.
All right, it is now. So, anything else about the bone collar? About the boner?
Well, yeah, about the bonables. No, I think I've said my piece of those. I'm excited to use them. Oh, actually, quickly, I hope they're not random spawns or exclusively random spawns. What they should be is in skeleton fleets and skeleton forts, the regular ones, as loot. So just so you can have the chance to have them on demand. Because nothing sucks more than, like I said, not being able to find something on day one and you rely on RNG to experience it. It should also be used as a tool to buff up the world events that people don't do.
Yeah. So you want them in barrels on skeleton forts or what?
No, as loot in skeleton forts, like a crate of them, and when you finish the fleet.
Okay.
Because wherever the chest of fortune is dominates, right? And there's no point doing on the other world events unless you want to do them on demand. They need to make the other world events viable. And the skeleton fort's been awful for the longest time. That's the one that needs the most help.
They should make throwable crates instead of firebomb crates.
Yeah, that would help as well.
A mix of throwables in there when you find it.
Yeah, so you get loads of blunderbombs, bone callers, and firebombs. That would be cool.
Aye. Let's go to the wind collar, or as it is also known as the Horn of Fair Winds. So we looked this up because in the trailer they called the horn the wind collar, but now in their tweets they are calling it the Horn of Fair Winds. We think the wind collar was their work in progress name, and now the official name has become the Horn of Fair Winds.
Yeah, because Joni also mentioned it in that article, didn't he? They teased the season 12 stuff.
He called it the Horn of Fair Winds.
Yeah. So I reckon that video was filmed quite a while ago, and they've just decided on the name recently.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I like both names actually. So
Horn of Fair Wind sounds a bit more piratey to me because Fair Winds.
I guess so.
Wind Caller sounds like Wind Wake to me.
It does.
Yeah, or the Windfish.
And we already had Bone Caller, right? Bone Caller, Wind Caller,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Wind Caller is it's a brand of digestives.
Oh.
sorry, I'm getting old. I'll laugh at my own jokes.
Make you fart and shit nicely.
If you invert it, like you can invert the horn and it comes out the other side. All right, we're going on a tangent. Let's first explain
what the
Horn of Fair Winds is.
At least if you turn it the other way, it doesn't suck instead.
All right, okay. maybe it does. You can puke on the mail. All right. Let's explain the Horn of Fair Winds first to our listeners. It is a horn with finite charges, which you can use to summon the power of the winds. And it's quite versatile. You can use it to get wind in the sails, which would be great for chasing, but also for running away. You can use it to knock. You can use it to knock players away. You can use it as a propulsion tool for yourself, but also on rowing boats. Something else that I find is maybe a bit OP, but you can use it to put out fires. And it also stops fall damage. So personally, I think this will be my favorite new addition to the season, because how many times are we chasing people and we're like, oh, if only we had something to get full billow or something like that. What do you feel about this, about the Horn of Fair Winds?
Yeah, it's not the motorboat I guess I was asking for, but, I think it's going to be really useful just for fucking around in the sandbox. And like you say, like I get the slope is smaller, so it's easier to run away, but there's just no skill gap to it or any way to break it. You just have to wait for the wind to change or the map to run out. This will be an interesting tool to sort of adjust that, and it's got utilitarian usage like putting out the fires on the galleon, which is very annoying on the galleon, as you know. I think this has some real potential. I think, as long as we can get a hold of it quite often, it'll be really good.
Speaking about that, do we know how we earned this one?
Did they say?
No, they didn't.
They didn't. Then we don't know.
Okay.
Do you know where it would be? Great.
Tell me.
What's my most underrated piece of content I always bang on about? See, this is a quiz now. I always want a reason to return to not the Shores of Gold.
It's Below the Waves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the shrines and treasuries, I think.
Put them in
that's
there.
Great.
I mean, we'd have to do the shrines again, but I'm not complaining.
It would be great. Thematically, it would make sense, I guess.
The shells, aren't they? So that makes sense. Or maybe you find them washed up. That'd be boring, but useful, boring. And RNG as well. We don't like RNG, do we?
No, we want to get it.
On demand.
On demand. That's okay. That would be a great idea. I am the most excited about this. I'm more excited about this than the knives, to be honest.
So boners don't excite you as much?
Not anymore. I'm past that phase of my life. I wanted to say something now. It's because I was also talking about having the root beer to have to put out the fires, right? That was a great idea I had in the past, one of many. But now the wind caller or the Horn of Fair Winds kind of fills that function as well. So I think that's a great tool for that.
Yeah,
don't you agree?
You're gonna fucking need it in season 13 by the looks of things.
Yeah. Wait, why?
More fire? Stay tuned for more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I kind of like it in that way because it's versatile as well. I don't think I'll be using it a lot to stop fall damage, but putting out fires, I'll keep one handy in the cabin.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, the other addition in next season will be zip lines.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah. They just don't feel like, especially with the next feature, like they're going to be particularly powerful. Unless we can go up them, but I don't think we can.
didn't look like it. You can carry treasure with it, which is nice and known. It doesn't seem like we can use our weapons while we're using the zip lines. So
Could have been a way to buff
yeah,
up the pistol, couldn't it? Just the
I guess
pistol,
so.
or the
Yeah,
cutlass as well, because that's one-handed. Wonder
yeah,
what
but you're using two hands in the trailer, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels a bit like, oh, remember Monkey Island, that thing we introduced last summer, and we should have put this in then.
Mm-hmm.
It's here in April
Yep,
2024,
it
nearly
does.
8 months later.
It does feel like that. It does feel like that. Because with Pirate's Life we had the new additions like the trident and the new enemy type. We had it straight away.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I know if you introduce something in adult, they'll have it in the main game as well.
It just doesn't solve an issue that we have in the game. Like, it's easy to get
Mhm.
down from places. You just fucking jump.
Yeah.
Not to sort of reduce the work that's gone into this and how it makes islands a bit better to traverse, but
Mhm.
yeah, like it just the issue with Sea of Thieves is always climbing those big islands, is never going down them,
Yeah. Yeah. Wait till season 14 for that.
which will
But yeah,
invalidate the zip lines. But
I still yeah happy they're there. They add a positive, only that positive isn't that all that great. Agree with that?
yeah, it's very small.
All right. That's what she said. Let's go on to the thing that does excite us. Balancing on harpoon lines. So now we can shoot our harpoon and we can balance on the line. It's awesome. It's something we wanted as soon as the harpoon came out, and now we're getting it.
And it was planned as well. It was planned since before launch. Being able to balance on a harpoon, so it's nice to see. Nice to see it coming to fruition 6 years later.
Yeah. But again, this is going to change the meta in a big way. Like boarding, holy crap, that's going to be so different now. If you're about to catch up, normally you harpoon, but now you can harpoon and board, which is great.
Yes. So it depends, right? If someone knows about the harpoon, it's going to be nigh on impossible to board using it, I think. I think it's going to be useful for traversing the island and not having to go in the water and stuff. I think that'll make a bit more sense. But then again, you can just harpoon the loot anyway if it's in harpoon range. So I like the idea of this. I just don't think it will be strong enough to impact the sandbox enough.
Okay.
Unless you're sliding down it.
Yeah, I think it's you can also use it to on the sovereign tents. If a ship sails past, you can harpoon it, make sure it doesn't get away, and you can slide straight to their deck.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very niche, but cool. Like, yeah, I'm interested to see how it is. Hopefully the balancing isn't too tedious. Yeah, we'll see how it plays. It's really cool. I'm just concerned how it's not going to make a big impact on the game, really.
Yeah, you can't use your weapons on it, right? So I think that's a smart decision. Otherwise, it would have been a bit too OP. But still, I think there's going to be a lot of fun scenarios with it. And even if you're boarding too, right? Yeah, somebody can just shoot you because you're just, they know your trajectory. It's going to be pretty easy to shoot you. But then you rely on your crewmates to, keep suppressive fire on them. So I think it helps with, with crews working together as well if you want to board.
I would be more radical and say that the fact you're so defenseless means that you should be able to use your weapons on it because you can't move. Otherwise, you can only go back and forward. And you shoot your shot and you have to reload. You can't jump around. Otherwise, you fall off the thing. You might fall in. The balancing game's cool, but I just think that's going to become a bit of tedium when we get used to it. It's realistic, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think this is going to be used in any serious capacity for ship combat.
Okay.
Unless the skill difference is already there, and then it doesn't really make any sense because we would have caught them anyway in that scenario, or got on board anyway.
Yeah, that's true, but it makes it a bit quicker, right?
Potentially, yeah. But if they're in harpoon range, you can just catch up to them already, or you could just sort of lunge onto their ship.
Yeah, I guess so.
We'll see.
I guess
We'll see
so.
what
We'll
happens.
see.
I'm just not hopeful for this one, unfortunately, because it seems very weak.
All right. So those are all the tools and weapons in season 12. So let's move on to season 13. It has a big addition. It has a new world event, but not only just a boring world event. No, it's a world event you can take over because it is the Burning Blade, Flameheart's flagship. As a world event, it just sails around the seas, and you can engage with it, you can attack it, and you can even take it over if you have defeated the ship. It's a great ship. It's a bit bigger than the usual galleon. It has a flame ball thrower at the front, which can be activated with a lever. It has more cannons. It even has cannons on the poop deck, so your helm can shoot cannons as well, which is really great. It also scales with your crew size, so if you are on the sloop, you have some more skeletons helping you out, a skeleton crew, as it were. And if you did take over the Burning Blade, you're also tasked with a voyage or goal. I don't know how to call it. But you will collect secrets of the ancients if you take over the blade. You will go to skeleton camps. These skeleton camps lead to temples, and the goal of the temple is to get the secrets of the ancients, more specifically, orbs of secrets. If you get them on the Burning Blade, you will get more tribute to the ship. The more tribute your ship has, the more value it will have when you turn it in. However, if you sink, you will lose it all. Something else I like to mention is that skeleton camps can also be visited without the blade. I'm not really sure how it will work then, but they kind of explained it like a mini fort with a focus on combat, and I'm sure you will get some loot that way. So, how do you feel about this, Ray?
How do you feel about it? Because I think people know how I feel about this.
I think it's great. It's something that I didn't expect again. Because everybody thinks of a world event, right? And in your head, a world event is just a location you go to, or maybe a new AI threat or something that you can start, like the Fort of the Damned. This is different. This world event is anywhere in the seas, and you can sail to it, and then you take it over, which is new. Which is well, you thought of it before because you made a video about a man of war.
Yep, checks in the mail. Don't worry.
but usually it's not something you think of, like how like I'm going to design a world event, like you're thinking of big monsters or something like that, but not the concept they come up with now. And not only do you take it over, you go on a mission, and it enables PvP again, which I'm all for. So I think it's a really unique really unique world event.
Yeah, I think so too. I directly asked for this, so it's a man of war.
And it looks amazing too. You know,
it looks amazing too. Yeah, it's going to look so good when those triangular sails go on there. Because the normal ones looked a bit janky, didn't they? You can obviously tell it's still in progress, that model. Yeah, I literally asked for this. I said, "Can we have a world event, man of war, and then you can take it over and sail it around the map to complete objectives?" This was like last year or some shit like that. And people quite receptive to the idea. So it's just coincidence that Rare's done it. They don't watch my videos. Yeah, I think this has got so much potential, and the fact that your reward isn't just loot; it's a tool that gives you a seemingly massive advantage, especially if you're a galleon crew, and it should mean that this is used indefinitely because of the advantage that affords. You can obviously do voyages on it. You can do the objectives. There were world events spawning in the trailer. There was a skeleton fort there, so imagine you can do things like Fort of the Damned and regular skeleton forts.
I did not even see that in the trailer.
Yeah, there's a skull in there. It could be for effect, but I imagine they wouldn't leave that in there deliberately. And you become the world event, and it also gives other players an incentive to team up on you, which is cool. Because you are you're the Burning Blade, and you've got a skeleton crew, and you've got 4 people on there, and you've got all these weapons and what have you that you can use to your advantage. So I think this is, to have plays become a world event is really special.
Yeah, I think so too. And it adds a little bit more stress, which is nice, also for the experienced crews, because people want to sink you.
Yeah.
And if you sink, you lose it all. And if you're an experienced crew, you want to get maximum tribute, right?
Yeah. You want to
I don't know if
stack
you need.
this for like 4 hours for your whole session,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah. So do we know the maximum? Because they're like,
Is
do
it
we know the
infinite?
maximum skeleton camps?
Oh, skeleton camps. The bird. So we know there's. I think we can tell from the trailer there's one in each region, but the current orb is saying that there's, I think, maybe 5 or 6. It implies like there's 5 more to come because one of them's going to be in Barnacle Key. One is on Picaroon Palms, which is that an ancient island? No, it's Picaroon Palms is the
Shores of Plenty.
Shores of Plenty, and there's definitely one on in the wilds. I can't remember where it is. You see it in the trailer or concept art actually. So if it's like the Sea Forts 2, 2, 2 would make sense, right? 6 in total.
Yeah, and maybe one in the Roar.
Probably not.
Nah.
It would be nice, but you'd have to incentivize people to go to that one for extra tribute, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you get more. But do you think it's like, there's like 6 islands you need to go to, and then you have 6 orbs, and that's the maximum tribute? Or do you think, you can go on indefinitely and stack as much you want?
You can accrue as much tribute and loot as much indefinitely. It's infinitely, yeah.
And what does that add to tribute? Is that do you get rewarded for servants, or do you get rewarded for reapers, or is there something else, or is it just commendations?
It would make sense to be reapers, but we don't know. But it seems like tribute seems to almost act like the hourglass, where when you win, you get hourglass value, and you get reputation. I imagine it's sort of that risk versus reward, where once you go in, you sink or the world event ends, that's when you're awarded the tribute. And it sort of just pays out reputation and gold based off of that, because obviously you can sell loot as well. I imagine you can just take it to the Reaper's hideout and sell it there for more reputation, but don't think it's a separate progression system.
Yeah.
It's too much otherwise. It's confusing otherwise.
I guess so. You also don't think it will take over your emissary, right? Of your ship?
I don't know. It would make sense to be able to raise an emissary on there, because it's your ship, isn't it? You respawn on it, you crew it, etc., etc. You put supplies on it. It would make sense to raise an emissary, but only the Reaper's Bones one.
Yeah, I wanted to say, because if you sail the Athena flag on the burning blade,
just fucking up at Port Merrick. Hi guys, just gonna raise my gold hoarder emissary. Yeah, no problem, mate. Just by the way, we're robbing the place, so yeah.
How do you? Because it is called the burning blade. We can assume they dragged up the remains of the old burning blade and stitched it into something new, or
no? It seems to be just they've removed the figurehead, haven't they? From the Reapers, from the burning blade ship. So I imagine they're going to use the some sort of memories or ancient power to turn that ship into the new one.
Yeah.
Considering it doesn't have a figurehead anymore, or it does, it's just a giant gaping maw.
Yeah, I do like that design. It's great.
I'm a bit surprised they didn't go with the original one. I do want the original cannons, capstan, that whole stuff. So they've gone with an Asian theme this time, which is interesting. I guess it matches with the Ashen Dragon and the that whole set, and the sort of Ashen Lord designs. But I don't know. It's weird considering the original Burning Blade isn't Asian inspired. It's just a sort of normal looking ship. I say normal, but
it does have a Asian dragon, right?
I wouldn't say that Burning Blade's Asian. It's more Western style because it's got a horn, whereas the Ashen Dragon has a Chinese dragon.
But the dragon of the Burning Blade is also an Asian dragon, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
I would say that's definitely a Western style dragon.
Okay.
Because it has horns.
And wait. Asian dragons have horns too.
I could Google this. Western style.
I think so. Like the dragon in Dragon Ball Z has horns, right?
I haven't seen Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
I just Googled Western style dragon and they all have fucking horns.
Yeah, but
and that's furry art. I'm not. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of Google. Eastern.
Cool Asian, yeah.
Not Easter style would be very on point though, considering it's Easter next weekend.
like a bunny
Okay,
figurehead.
some of them have horns.
Yeah.
They tend to have whiskers though,
All right. Oh, the whiskers.
and the
That's what it tells
horns are like
apart.
spiky, like spines rather than.
Okay. Well, dear listeners, let us know in the comments what you think.
I
Do you
am
think-
Team
do you-
Western Dragon. Remember
I'm
that.
Team Asian Dragon. So
Team
let us
Asian-
know.
Team
The
Asian
burning.
Team Asian Dragon sounds like a game dev studio.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that makes RPGs.
Yeah.
Let us know, listeners. What do you think? Burning Blade, Asian or Western Dragon? Anything else you want to talk about this world event?
Slight concern.
Okay.
Solo players will complain about it, but they complain about everything. So no. The concern is that Rare don't make it powerful enough. So obviously you've got Skeleton AI. They need to be quite strong on the cannons to be usable as a solo or duo or brig crew. And I don't want it to be too slow or turn too slowly because you have to get places in the world. Right now, a sloop can just about sail in a ring around a galleon at the same speed they turn, like turreting. The concern is that the sloop may be able to go around the galleon, the burning blade, faster than it can turn. So it could always stay out of its cannon range. Again, like the skeletons need to be able to repair quickly as well. You need to feel powerful while using this. And that is offset by the fact that people can team up and take you down. I think that should really be the focus of it rather than it's a galleon, but it's got an extra cannon. It should feel powerful. And the skeleton AI should be powerful as well. I would even go as far as saying like as powerful as the launch skeletons were with the cannons.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. It should be difficult to take it over.
Yeah, and if you're a solo, you're obviously going to be helming, right?
Yeah.
You need to have 4 or 5 skeletons on the cannon, or maybe leave your one separate, so at least 4 on each side when you're fighting, and the health needs to be decent as well. I want this to be helpful for solo players and viable, and I don't want a solo player to be absolutely steamrolled by a normal galleon by this, because it would just be a shitty experience for everyone involved. With that being said, the initial fight needs to be tough as well. So it feels like you're fighting the Burning Blade, because it's going to feel a bit shit again if it just feels like a normal skeleton vessel, just with an extra cannon.
Like maybe they should brand it like a world event for experienced players or something like that.
Yeah, because you don't, it should feel sort of high end, right? Because you get, the rewards are massive. You get that whole ship as a reward, and you can accrue infinitely, and you can bully other players with it. Yeah, I just concerned they're going to balance it too easily for the lowest sort of skill player, and it just won't feel like the Burning Blade. And after waiting this long, and they've decided to turn it into a world event, it needs to feel like it's hot shit, pardon the pun.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Rare, make it hard, you know?
Make it hard, like the bone collar. Anything else about the world event?
Not as such. I hope the rewards are really good. I want it to feel like a Reaper season. Notice how they didn't show Flameheart in the preview. I think they are saving that for the Xbox showcase to reveal him in a CGI trailer. It makes sense, right? Why would you just spoil what Flameheart's doing? Because it's like, oh, we found Flameheart. And keep out of Insiders as well. Keep out of Insiders. I don't want to be spoiled by that, because even if I don't go on there, someone will fucking break their NDA and spoil it. So keep it out of there.
One thing I was surprised by is that they didn't promote this event as a reward for winning Return of the Damned.
I think they just wanted to sweep that under the rug, didn't they? Yeah, you decided on this like nearly 2 years ago. Well done.
Yeah, but we never hear about it anymore. Like, I'm sure they've planned the Burning Blade maybe even before Return of the Damned, or separate from it at least. So it wouldn't be honest to say that this was a reward. But if this isn't a reward, what is a reward, Rare? What is it?
Yeah, it would be important to have clarification for that, because you're right, they didn't bring it up.
Yeah, and it feels so dumb, because with Port Merrick, it's a clear reward that we've gotten that. But now with this one, no, and it feels, I feel like I'm cheated. That's how it feels.
It is great knowing that like non-Reaper fans can oppose this, which is very good for the sort of ongoing conflict. But when Lost Sands was lost, you can't oppose Port Merrick, can you? maybe the skeleton camps were going to be it, but yeah, they should be adding like a new reward for it, or make it clear, because it feels still up in the air, doesn't it? It's not like Flameheart came back quickly either.
No, not really.
Nearly 2 years. I'm going to say that's quite ridiculous, actually.
Yeah, but we've talked about it plenty of times.
Yeah.
I'm also curious how it would be visiting the skeleton camps without Blade.
I imagine it's the same.
Because it's new content, right? Anyways, you can engage with, which is always nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's not locked into the world event, and it feels a bit more akin to Season 6, where Athena had their there was the Legend of the Veil, and you had the Sea Forts, and this one's a bit like, you've got the world event and the skeleton camps. It's like a flip of the coin, basically, the other side of the coin.
Do you think we'll still have regular voyages on those islands?
Well,
I don't think it will be possible anymore, right?
It'll be interesting because Rare, when they built the Burning Blade, you can get chests that are underneath it, and you can't dig them up. So hopefully they thought of that. So I don't think so, but you'd be surprised.
I mean, yeah, I don't think so. Like, you need to get chickens on Barnacle Key, and there's a fort there with no chickens. Like, I don't think that will work.
What if they were chickens dressed up as Reapers? They've got little masks on. Like, sell for even more. You have to jailbreak the chickens.
Yeah, maybe that would be too good. Or just pigs with masks.
just taped to their face like via a string or something.
Yeah.
And they oink pigs for all eternity. I'm available anytime as a designer, Rare. You just have to call me. You've got my email.
But we've heard like Big Room Palms and Barnacle Key, right? So those are also the islands you don't really visit all that much or on that special. So I'm happy with not having normal voyages on those islands anymore.
Yeah, same. Paving the way for progress and all that.
Yeah, and you can dive to islands anyway. So
who needs to sail in Sea of Thieves?
All right. Are you ready to go to season 14?
Quickly, one last point. I don't think you're going to be able to dive with the Burning Blade.
Oh, yeah, I also don't think so.
Imagine if you could do Hourglass with it.
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually.
Rare.
Wow.
Rare.
You can instant force streak if you do manage to sink it. Yeah.
Rare, that's actually really good. Oh no, I'm fighting the Burning Blade, but if we sink it, we get a champion level, and you get 4 times as much. Rare, consider it. People will play Hourglass again, although it would be Burning Blades versus Burning Blades.
Damn, that would be cool. I want it now. Oh well. Wouldn't make sense for the lore, sadly.
Season 15 Hourglass revamp with Manowar versus Manowar. It'll be the rebuilt Black Witch versus the Burning Blade.
That would be so cool.
You can have that one for
free as well. Great ideas. Yeah, these are great ideas.
Yeah, and new rewards as well for Hourglass, just saying. Okay, yeah, let's move on. Let's move on
to season 14. Quite surprised they showed something. But we'll take it. That's nice. Season 14 seems to be focusing more on being sneaky, being piratey, which is always nice. You can hang off ships, for example. They didn't show it, but you can hang off ships. Crouching would be a thing.
They didn't show it, but you can crouch.
They also didn't. Yeah, they didn't show, but you can probably do it.
I'll give you some visual aid now. Go and stand in front of a full length mirror. Crouch down. That's probably what it's going to look like.
Exactly. Yes. The Sea of Thieves experience right there. Something else you can do, you can climb into chests. You can even scuttle around a little bit when you're in the chest, and other players can grab it like it's a piece of loot, which I think is great. It's also something we've talked about in year 1, I think, and now they're adding it, so that's fun. Do you reckon they just went to the comments in year 1 and like, oh, what else can we do? What people still want?
Well, it's interesting that a lot of this stuff has been brought up as feedback in sort of different videos. Like Blurbs talked about like the motorboating, not the nice kind. He talked about using the sort of propulsion system for robots, and that's coming. He talked about this as well.
We talked about that too. We talked about propulsion motorboats too. So on rowboats as well.
Yeah, and we know they listen. So sorry, Blurbs, it was us. What was the other one? Harpoon gun. Loads of people brought that up, and it's been on several things. So
Yeah, I saw the tweet of Blurbs. I'm like, yeah, maybe you brought it up, Blurbs, but everybody brought it up. So
Even the devs said they had plans for a Harpoon gun, didn't they, before launch?
yeah,
So yeah, not to rain on anyone's parade, but it does seem like they've been taking feedback on board.
yeah, on board. I love it. But that's cool. Hiding in chests, right?
Yeah. I'm a bit surprised they went with another sort of sandbox season. Not to say like, it's kind of like 2 small seasons. Like you've got season 13 with a big set piece and the little sort of extra activities, and then you've got 2 seasons which are adding new weapons and tools and stuff. But with that being said, if this sort of cadence was going forward, and it'd be like little like toy box stuff, and then a big event, little toy box stuff, big event, and we never ever had a quality of life season again or a new system, I would be happy. Seriously.
I do think it's quite smart of them to show that we have tools, big event, and then tools again. Because if they didn't announce that or just show the big event, everybody's waiting on when is the big season coming, when is the big season coming.
Yeah.
But now we know what's coming, so we know what to expect, and it looks cool, and we won't be disappointed that it's just some tools and nothing big, quote unquote big. So I think it's smart for them to show the entire year.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's fine to just talk about plans. I imagine there's even more in season 14 that we don't know about because it's so far away, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Another thing, I'm not sure if this is a new weapon. I think it's a new weapon. It's called the Blow Dart, which will have different darts, like a tracking dart, which you can shoot on ships, but also treasure. You have a skeleton lure dart, which lures skeletons.
Imagine getting hit with that at the Skelly Fort.
And you have one that makes sound effects, and I think it's a different sound effect depending on where you hit the blow dart. So if you hit the blow dart on the capstan, it makes the sound effect for the capstan. If you hit it on the ladder, it sounds like somebody's climbing up. Oh, I love this one though. It's gonna be beautiful to use that one. Can you imagine just shooting it on one ladder and everybody's standing there and you climb the other one and stuff like that?
Yeah. We need a sound for climbing the ladder though.
Yeah, you can hear it, right? If you climb the ladder.
Just the water. You can't hear someone climbing a ladder.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But still, the water sound effect would be cool. They didn't talk about damage. Apparently that's not in the works to just damage plays. I'm sure there will be a dart for that.
Surely poison is going to work.
Surely poison or other effects like drunken darts. Sleeping. I mean, it's there. It's literally there already. So
imagine someone boards, hits you with a sleeping dart, teabags you for the new crouch, and then kills you with a sword. I'm here for season 14, guys.
Yeah, Blow Dart is really cool. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, or like imagine hitting someone with hitting the capstan with the blow dart, and then someone hits the ship with a curse cannonball, so you think that they've just hit it with and the anchor's actually been dropped. You've got so much potential. That's such a cool idea. Tracking dart as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. But is this a weapon or is this a tool we find in the game?
The fact that the darts have different ammunition sounds like it's going to be a tool, right? But I'm more inclined for them to do it as a starting weapon, and you choose your type of blow dart. Because if you had access to maybe all of them, it would be a bit powerful, but you are also sacrificing a weapon potentially for a utility thing, and it seems like they're doing this with sort of going forward. The weapons won't just be for dealing damage, it's for moving around the environment and interacting with other players. So they should have it so you have it as a weapon, but you choose what to load with the radial.
Yeah.
So you know when you pick up something, you can choose your equipment. They should have one that brings up and you press like Y or something, and instead of throwables, it brings out the choice of dart you want to use, and you've got limited amounts. Maybe you've got one of each if there's 5.
Yeah. Something that will be a throwable for sure are traps. You can throw them like blunderbombs.
Are the traps throwable?
Yeah, they told them. Yeah, well, they said they were throwable, yeah.
Really? That seems pretty powerful, doesn't it?
Let me fact check.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, it's throwable.
Oh, shit. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that now.
But maybe the range is really short to throw them, right? Just in front of your feet.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting for stopping borders, right? I suppose that
Yes.
is offset by another tool that's coming in season 14. But what sort of traps would you want to see?
Just the basic effects would be expected, right? Sleeping and knockback.
I think knockback like a blunder bomb that damages, fire that sets you on fire. Like you say, sleep, poison you, or just trap you
Yeah.
in place and deal no damage.
Yeah, for 2 or 3 seconds or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or just makes a noise or inflicts you with a tracking dart. Things like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Anything you wouldn't want to be a trap?
What a weird question. I don't know.
Sleeping might be
Uh,
annoying.
Sleeping is fine.
Drunk would be cool, but then again, it just sort of feels like a manual dart, doesn't it? So maybe there's not going to be that much crossover.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a trap is different. Like a trap is definitely something that's in your throwable radial.
Yeah,
Um, so which means you can place them around and you don't need your blow dart. So,
it
eh,
would be cool if you could attach the traps with different equipment, like putting a bone caller in there. So if someone steps on the ship, you get immediate skeletons spawn.
mm-hmm.
So it's like an alarm system, and then you got to fight the skeletons.
Yeah, yeah. And he has to fight them, so you can easily locate them. He can't tuck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
World's your oyster with these, really.
Aye, but we'll have to see a bit more because it didn't show us.
Yeah.
The thing they did show us, which is I think also the most exciting thing about season 14 at the moment,
Yeah.
is a grapple gun. Again, it's very versatile. It's just like this musket thing, harpoon gun thing that you can it has limited ammo.
Hmm.
You can shoot it and then you're propelled to it. So you can use it for traverse. You can also use it to harpoon items. I think you can use it to harpoon players.
Yep.
You can use it for boarding as well. Some players said, yeah, this is a little bit OP. And I'm like, yeah, but it does take a weapon slot. So I feel it's somewhat balanced. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. So this is the thing I made the video about, because people do have some founded concerns with that. And to sort of cut the yap short,
Mm-hmm.
two things. Solo plays is the biggest concern. They're getting dumped on by bigger ships anyway. That's just how solo slooping is. Does Rare need to balance it some more? Maybe. Does it make it fun for the solo player? Probably not. And the other one is that, like Blubber says, you sacrifice a weapon for it. So yeah, you can do multiple boards with it, and it does reduce the skill gap for that. But when you're on board, you still have to fight people. You still have to drop the anchor. And most likely those people are going to have two weapons and you have one. So getting rid of that secondary, you are limited in your fighting capability. If you've got the Eye of Reach, yeah, you can shoot someone, but they could just sword you to death. If you've got the sword, you've got no range damage. If you've got the blunderbuss, likewise, pistol, etc., etc. Getting on that is going to be a test with fighting people with one weapon, especially if you have equal skill. And if anything, it allows people who aren't as good the ability to board, and if someone's less skilled than you on board, you can still fight them. Most fights will just go the same way. It's just going to be a little bit harder for the solo sloopers to run now, but they have the easiest time running anyway. So, do we balance the game around the hard mode? Is the problem.
Yeah, maybe it won't work as well on sloops. Maybe you need to hit the mast on sloops instead of the sides.
I think having it hit the mast anywhere on the ship should be the only option. Yeah, just for the sake of a bit of skill, because there's loads of ship you can hit, and you've got that little step up as well, so you can clear railings and ledges. So I trust Rare again to balance this. Again, like I said before, I'm more inclined to be excited about this because it shakes up the game rather than, if it's really shit, why did you add it in the first place?
Yeah.
It can always be scaled back after launch, right? That's the more likely situation. And it has ammo as well, so.
Yep. Does it do damage? Do you know that?
It doesn't look
maybe
like
a little bit. Yeah.
I don't think it should. It should just
No, it should. Nah, I think you can harpoon somebody. Just, like Mortal Kombat, like get over here, and then you switch to your blunderbuss or your cutlass or something.
Imagine shooting over a ship. You use your skill to snipe a chest of fortune. You go flying over the ship and you swipe the chest of fortune without even touching it. Like, that's going to be a skill. That's going to introduce a new skill gap for certain things.
And then you get away on your own boat with your wind collar.
That's conveniently waiting on the other side. Oh, and you've already thrown the bone caller as a distraction as well.
Of course. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Oh, it's going to be so fun.
But someone is tracking the chest of fortune with a blow dart so they know where your rowboat is. Look, this is the sort of shit they're going for, and it's so cool. And in fact, you haven't harpooned the chest of fortune. It's a player hiding in it.
It's a player. Oh my god! Oh, that's great! Oh, that's awesome.
See, this is the carnage they're going for. It makes me really excited about season 14. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm a season 13 man because I'm a Flameheart stan, but season 14 just sounds like we're going to be in tears, in like laughter and crying in pain because of how powerful the harpoon gun is as well.
It's good though, because a lot of our sessions they tend to feel similar over time, you know.
Yeah, it's just raise Reaper, do wild events, fight anyone who comes near, you know.
Exactly. So this really shakes it up again, and I'm quite excited for it.
Yeah. But it's the question. Do you think this is all launching on time?
But it kind of has to, right?
I think Rare would be remiss if they delayed any of these seasons. What release stage do you think? Because we know it's the 30th of April for season 12, but when are you thinking for season 13 and 14? In your professional opinion?
August, maybe, for season 14?
Yeah. 14 for August? Or 13?
So it says April. April is 13.
April's 12.
June, July. Yeah. So 13 in August.
It's a shame because we're probably going to have that trailer in June, aren't we? For Flameheart. And it's going to be like, oh, there's still like 8 weeks to go.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think August as well. I think it's going to be 14 weeks. Unless they do a short season, but then again, they would have to do season 15 this year, which is not happening. I'm just sick of waiting for Flameheart, to be honest, mate. July would be okay, but that would only be like if it launched on the 30th of July, that'd be 12 weeks, and that's an incredibly tight turnaround. But yeah, it's probably going to be mid-August now, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm not really the guy that wants to put dates on it. I'm like, it's there when it's there, and I'm enjoying it when it's there. And until that time, I'm enjoying other stuff, be it Sea of Thieves or something else. So I'm not the guy to put dates on it.
Yeah, so it'll be August and December, I think, for those last 2 seasons.
No, I don't think December.
Yeah, it will be.
Okay.
It's a quote-unquote small season to just put away before Christmas, and then they've got lots of time to work on season 15 for...
Yeah, but then people complain about balancing, and then everybody's on holiday, so it doesn't get balanced. Or you're not afraid of that?
Well, we have just had a period of over a week where the game was crashing for everyone on Windows Store, and that took a week to fix.
All right.
Back in the day, they'd do it in like 2 weeks. In like 2 days, but 2
hours even.
2 hours. The servers would go down the same day, wouldn't they? But they were crunching, so yeah. No, I don't. I think they wouldn't patch it for at least a month anyway for balance changes. So December's fine.
Yeah. All right. The final thing that's on the list is owls.
So the conclusion: are we happy with?
So you're not excited about owls?
Sorry, Owlet. I would be more excited if we didn't know about it a year ago. Yeah, just I don't know. Like, it's great for people who love owls. It just I don't know what.
It's not a hippo, is it? Then
it's just a microtransaction. Like the pets are cool and they're the best microtransactions, which is a funny sentence to say. But I don't know what animal would make me super excited. Maybe like I don't know. It just feels like with the foxes, they're reskinned dogs.
Yeah,
with different noises. The owls will be the same. What baby hippo would be cool. Or like
Yeah, I wanted to say baby kraken, but
stuff
or
like
baby octopus, or maybe a tiny turtle, or a goldfish in the bowl. Yeah, that's what I really want.
just pull out the goldfish in the bowl when he pops out and glubs at you. I don't know, like something no, not edgy. I don't know. It's just Pirate Emporium stuff. Great for Owlet. You know, I mean, he works with them now, so you know, you live in the dream there. So I don't feel too bad for me not liking the owls. But yeah, what about
Are you gonna buy one? Are you gonna buy one? An owl? Are you gonna buy an owl?
Maybe, probably not.
Yeah, I feel the same. Maybe, probably not. Well, like I said before, I really want a goldfish. I really want a octopus.
Yeah,
in a jar or something like that. Baby hippo, obviously, but they're never gonna do that. Owls, that doesn't really get me excited. It needs to be a bit more piratey, and owls, they're not really piratey to me.
yeah. I was gonna say the owls and foxes don't really fit, whereas cats, monkeys, dogs, and cats. Sorry, cats, monkeys, dogs, and cats. Parrots, monkeys, cats,
Parrots.
and dogs.
Don't forget the parrots.
Don't forget the parrots. They were really
Right.
piratey and sort of made sense, whereas the owl is just like
Yes,
it's
owl.
not very piratey, just like the fox.
No,
So,
not really. Yeah, like rats or crabs would be cool.
snake would be cool.
Yeah,
Rats, yeah, a little rat would be cool. Lorenz would be happy then, wouldn't he?
he would. Yep, and it's more piratey because rats are on ships.
Yeah, yeah. You can have edgier stuff like eagles and baby krakens and things like that.
Your pet barnacle.
Pet barnacle. A little kraken
All
called
right.
Squidward.
Aye. So as a conclusion, are you happy with the upcoming year?
I'm elated with the upcoming year.
That's great. I'm also really excited. Do you feel something is lacking?
Oh,
Something is missing?
glad you asked, my friend. I tell you what, not anything to do with the seasonal content per se. I know the cosmetics will probably be lacking. That's just a thing I've come to accept. For the most part, anyway. I think it's like, yeah. By the by, story-wise, and mid-season content. So, Adventures of Kaput, which was sneakily brushed under the rug in a little article, Eurogamer, is literally a paragraph, and it's not mentioned in this. Seasons are back to 14 weeks or so. I think this one's 15 weeks. It's a long time without anything to do. And does that mean seasons launch on time if we don't have anything? Yes, but also means that there's nothing really exciting once the season drops. Don't get me wrong, I think season 13 has the potential to carry us through the whole season just because of how fresh the concept is. And the other two seasons will engage how we play with the game just passively every time we start a session, right? It'll be new stuff to experience that you will always use.
Yeah.
But I think that's very helpful for both. But we've got a lot of story stuff to get through, and it just feels like it's all being tied up very quickly.
Yeah, can I rant about that a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead. You'll probably explain it better than me.
Well, because they showed like Belle is now in the tavern, right? In the Phoenix Tavern.
Who is, sorry?
Belle. Oh, sorry, Briggsy. Sorry,
Briggsy, yeah.
Yeah. And the last time we saw her was she was going with the dog brethren, right? And she explains, I left him. I left the dog brethren. It's not explained in an adventure or in a trailer or not even a journal. I'm just saying it in a throwaway line. Yeah, no, I left him.
Like,
and
I was
like,
a prisoner and I was held at ransom, but I just fucked off, basically.
I fucked off, yes, indeed. And we kind of had that feeling because of the Skull of Siren song, but whatever. But it feels like cheated. Like we are getting invested in the lore. We are getting invested in the stories that you craft. And now you're like, yeah, sorry for wasting your time. We're doing something else now. I'm like, really? Come on. I mean, what's the point of the lore then, anyways?
I think it's that aspect as well, because I know Adventures weren't a hit with a wider fan base, but I know people who were invested in it. And as much as we had a podcast every week and we've complained about all the bloat and the plot holes and tangents and stuff, granted that was, you know, an element of frustration, but it's equally as frustrating to build all that shit out and then just throw it away and retcon it.
Yeah.
And that bleeds into another thing. We sit here and speculate on how the story is going to go next. And our communities do. They speak about it in Discord all the time. And other content creators like Falcor really built a career off of this speculation.
Hmm.
But it's just at a point now where I don't want to speculate on anything because it could just get rewritten.
Yeah.
And it's very evident this story has been seemingly changed and reshuffled, and at this point, very clearly rewritten. Because
Yeah.
they obviously had a plan for something, and they even teased that in the game. But then you turn around and you literally just say, "Oh yeah, I just didn't fancy working with the Brethren anymore." Not the fact like you were with them out of choice.
Mm.
And you
But
tease this.
it's with the temple, right?
Yeah, you tease the
Yeah.
temple and you even set out the Skull of Siren song, and then as soon as a season later, or not even a season later, it's like, oh yeah, we don't need that anymore. We're just gonna use the burning blades to cure Tasha. Just feels like there's no stakes, and it just throws the story into further disarray. Yeah, very disappointed about that. To be fair, just from someone
Same.
who was in.
And we didn't see anything that connects to those adventures this year in
No,
the preview event. So I'm like, all right, so again, you have nothing planned for it. Like, come on! It's we talked with Mike about this as well with the that lady that was shackled that appeared on the in Golden Sands when it was getting ruined.
yeah, and Shrouded Islands as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we're speculating about who is this woman? Oh, it's so
Is it
mysterious. And
Flameheart's ancient prisoner?
yeah, and it's like, nah, it's just some lady from the Sea of the Damned. Yeah, you're never gonna meet her. That was it. It's just a memory leaking, and it has no meaning. Okay, thanks, Mike.
The fact
It's
that apparition feels like in Shrouded Islands that person was consciously helping you by pointing the way to go, felt like that person was going to be important later on and actively opposing Flameheart in the way that, they're helping you find out what's going on.
And it felt thought out. Like with the Ancient Warrior, it's the same thing. It feels like you're building up something, it feels like you're working not only on the next adventure, but also on a new potential world event or world change. But it's not connected at all. And I'm like, all right, disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to focus on Bench Kazooie lore again.
Yeah. It just, as well with Flameheart coming back, it's a great set piece. And they've clearly gone for gameplay over story. Which is fine. I think most people prefer that way. But I feel like we've got 5 months to really explain what he's been doing, and I'm a bit concerned that's not going to be the case. With him out looking for the secrets of the ancients, that was the reason why he's not in the sea at all. That we can see him. But it seems like we're going to be looking for the secrets of the ancients in these temples. So what has he been doing? Has he been digging them himself? I mean, he could. But yeah, just, are we going to find out who his ancient prisoner is? What's happening with the Great Warrior? The whole Spanish thing was just sort of, did they arrive to the Sea of Thieves before us? Because it's implied in the Sunken Kingdom, and you very clearly got that build-up from season sort of 4 onwards to the adventures. And it feels like it's just been hurried along because the roadmap didn't work out properly.
Yeah. I feel we have to make our peace as creators, but also as fans.
Yeah.
That all of threats are just gonna fizzle they fade into memory.
Yeah. And that's the struggle with doing a game that's just not story focused. Because when this game came out, it had lore and it had a background because you had the Tales from the Sea of Thieves book. But as it's grown and you've got people who play for PvP, for, just doing like treasure hunting and stuff. And then you have people who, like me and you, who love the story of the game, but we also like the other aspects, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You've got such an eclectic audience to please. And when it doesn't land or something goes wrong and you get this criticism about adventures, it is very easy just to go back to, we'll just do it like year 1 and we'll weave the story with the updates, which is fine. But yeah, we kind of want payoffs for this sort of stuff that was set up.
Also, good luck to those PlayStation players getting into the lore. It's impossible now.
Yeah. At least, it's funny, I made that video before Monkey Island came out, and I could explain, what's developed since that video, since last July. You could just take Monkey Island out and it would be exactly the same. And you just have to explain that they've retconned this plotline. It'd be like a 2-minute job. And that
maybe I still think it's a good thing that it was not that many connections in Monkey Island. That it was very self-contained, because in the long run, it's better for enjoying it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just for me that it put a pause on something that I was very excited about to do Monkey Island, and I'm more enthusiastic about Sea of Thieves than Monkey Island. Just to clarify my sort of point on that. That's why.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it though. I loved Monkey Island. I thought it was great.
Of course. Let's crack on though. I can kind of answer this, but was it smart for Rare to show their almost complete hand for this year?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I think so too.
I think after 2023, well, we did have some surprises and they were great surprises. Don't get me wrong. You need to reinstill confidence that there is cool stuff coming, because we had the year of systems, and people were so jaded with the content release cycle for this game and the delays and the bugs and whatever you want to criticize Rare for. They needed to say, yeah, we've talked about going back to the sandbox, but actions speak louder than words. We'll just show you.
Do you think they'll show more?
I think there's a lot more that we don't know about. Season 14 especially. Obviously Season 13, we've got cosmetics to think about. There's obviously, they haven't revealed all of it there. There's a few details to come out about how the ship works and all that sort of stuff. Season 14, they must have quite a bit planned if they've already revealed what they're planning on doing. Granted, some of this stuff might not make it because it's still in development. But I still think we've got a fair bit to come. Just not anything like, oh, we're doing Tall Tales, or we've got adventures coming back. Things like that I don't think are coming.
Yeah, nothing of that size, no. But they'll show a little bit more. If you were to rate this preview event, final question, out of 10 bananas.
9.5 bananas.
Wow, okay. That's pretty high.
Yeah. It was better than 2022.
Yeah, well, that's not really hard.
2022 preview was hype.
What did they show again?
The adventures, the mysteries, and mysteries are probably cancelled as well. Adventures, mysteries, and season 6.
It takes one tab to mysteries. It's a tab in the Billside Adventures.
Don't get me
started. Or a panel, and it's just I know 1 or 2 accommodations in it, and just oh well.
Oh yeah, Hogarth's back, guys. Hogarth from the comic. That comic everyone's read. Sorry. Another thread.
But please buy the t-shirt. It was just the messages are just there to sell t-shirts for Rare.
It was a massive marketing campaign. Don't get me wrong. It was just
Yeah. I would rate it 8 out of 10.
Oh,
it's really it's really exciting. It's really exciting. But I need the personal connection still. I need to see something I personally wanted, like Hunter Skull update. It's not gonna happen this year, I know, but that's something I really want. Or a new AI threat on the seas, like a new monster to fight. Hippos, obviously. A connection with a past Rare franchise. I miss that. That's personal connection for me to get me really excited. You have it in the Burning Blade, but I don't. So there you go.
I think I've scored it a bit higher as well, because this is what, to me, a season should look like. It shouldn't be captaincy. As much as I wanted captaincy and I loved it, it shouldn't be guilds, or it should be something new. You log on and you can say, today I'm going to use the throwing knives, and I'm going to do what I do usually, but now I've got throwing knives and it feels different, or I've got the bone caller and it feels different. And then season 13 is like, I'm going to do the Burning Blade. That's, and the skeleton camps. And season 14 is, I'm going to try and sneak on summon ship today with the new mechanics. It's not, I'm going to do exactly what I did before, just the guild's level's going to go up.
Yeah.
And that's what year 1 was like. That's what year 2 was mostly like, so on and so forth. This feels like classic Sea of Thieves to me.
All right, so let's move on to the final segment, and that is the messages in a bottle. That's a part of the podcast where all listeners can send in their own questions and we answer them. I mean, it's nice if we answer them. If you want to send your own questions, you can join the Salty Hippo Discord. A link for that will be in the YouTube description. We have a small bunch of questions this time. The first one comes from Toby Echo Zep. Now that we have seen the preview and features for 3 upcoming seasons, what cosmetic-based rewards are you hoping for to see for each, or cosmetics you hope to see to come this year in general? Kind of talked about that. Like we want the silver blade cosmetics for insiders for these weapons,
Yeah.
and when you're there, add the flares too, add the furniture, add the backpack, make it a complete set.
Sapphire Blade
Um,
trinket.
Sapphire blade, put it in there. Yes, that's weird that isn't the thing, right?
Yeah.
Make a blue cat as well. Why not?
It's like Tom and Jerry.
Personally, I want Dark Adventure daggers. I think that's a cosmetic type that will go great with daggers or knives, I should say. And like you said, Reaper themed and Athena themed, they should be there as well. I mean, they're already there. Just make it in our hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and the Viv Piata set, like keep it completed, Rare. Please do so.
Season 13. What do you want?
I want to say make or lanterns. Make cosmetics for lanterns. Maybe add on captaincy that season. Don't know why I'm saying that, but I know I could say Reaper cosmetics, but I'm not the guy that gets excited about Reaper cosmetics. Not like you do, anyways. How do you feel about it?
Do you think it will be the new Burning Blade style or the old Burning Blade style for the Burning Blade set?
I think the old one then.
You think the old one?
It was the same size as the galleons we have now, right? So, and we can say as a lore thing, we can say as the original Burning Blade.
I think maybe both.
Both is nice.
Because officially, I imagine the hull would mix and match, but I imagine the figurehead, capstan, cannons, and what's the other part? Figurehead, cannon, capstans, and wheel. You'd only really have to make that new, wouldn't you? Because we've got the figurehead as a model, and we've got the sails, so we just need that and the flag. So,
yeah.
Weapon. I'll do the Reaper cosmetics then. New Skelly stuff would be cool. It's quite hard for people to get. I think Rare probably regret now putting that curse between such a hard grind. But by the by, we'll see what happens with the Hourglass in the future. Flameheart Jack. Nothing. It'll just be left to Arena's fate.
I think so, yeah. And I don't get why they don't learn from the mistakes, because they're obviously fitting again in that regard. Oh well. Yeah,
tangent. Flameheart stuff. I think we need the rest of his set for clothing. Jacket, belt, boots, peg leg, etc.
Complete the Ashen Lords then too, right? Why not?
Ashen Lords would make sense because they go with the new ship as well. So Ashen Lord jackets, Ashen Lord bones would be cool for the skeleton, with like the red crystals and stuff. I would probably use those. What else? Servant outfit would be cool as well. Reaper clothing, that sort of stuff is what I want. It should be a full Reaper season. The season pass should be like season 8 where it's Reaper themed, not with like the mismatched themes it's been having recently. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Athena needs some rewards for taking down the Burning Blade, so White Ghost set would be pretty cool. We've been waiting on that for 6 years, so that would be a cool recolor. Maybe like some Pyro Lord stuff as well would also be cool.
Maybe a ship set, commendations tied to it. Like you can earn the Burning Blade, but for defeating the Burning Blade, you get a different ship set for Athena.
It would make sense if the Magpie's wing wasn't absolutely clapped by it, but
Yeah, that's true.
Magpie's Fortune or something like that would be cool.
Aye. All right, let's move on. Thanks for that, Toby. The next one, and we kind of answered this one, but the next one is from Geo Godfather. With Sea of Thieves 2024 seeming to take a more sandbox-focused approach, I'm going to circle back to previous story arcs that Rare has yet to fully conclude. Such things as the Ancient Temple, Ancient Warrior, Magic Secret that the Dark Brethren wanted, and even, I count this, skeleton factions loyal to different skeleton lords. See the Festival of the Damned event where skeletons in different regions were using rituals to revive Greymarrow again. Do you think we will see any sort of major hints to any of these abandoned threats, and which of the many threats would you like Rare to actually pick back up and conclude first? So we kind of talked about this in the conclusion, because I don't think we're getting any of this. Maybe the Ancient Temple is going to get combined with the temples, with the Burning Blade event.
Oh,
yeah, it could be.
I think that's been saved for some sort of Athena versus Reaper voyage next year. And Flameheart wants the cure to
So
the curse.
so you do think we will get the Ancient Temple?
Mike confirmed it that we're getting it next year, didn't he?
Well, he said ancients as the hint.
No. I asked about the temple, and he said that's not coming this year, but they still have plans for it.
Okay, but plans can
change.
Plans can end up in the bin, even.
Yeah, as we know.
All right. Okay, but you're hopeful, right, for the Ancient Temple then?
It should be an Athena versus Reaper PvE voyage that you race, and you're scrambling for the cure to the curse.
That would be nice. That would definitely be nice.
They wanted to take down Flameheart once and for all.
All right, Ancient Warrior.
That was might be the one I want the most, yeah.
Well, do you think it's canned?
Oh, no, it's coming. Ancients next year, that's coming.
All right, so next year.
Yeah.
Right. Merrick's Secret to the Dark Brethren?
Never being brought up again.
I think so, yeah.
I even fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I read it yesterday, obviously, but I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody was speculating about that, but we never knew. Like, it could have been the location of all the artifacts in Port Merrick.
Yeah, and that would have the Sword of Souls, wouldn't it? And you wouldn't want them to get that. Good shout. Mike might tweet that. We can get him to tweet that.
Yeah,
just
we'll ask him next time.
Yeah.
We'll write it down. He mentions the different skeleton factions as well, loyal to different skeleton lords. Is there anything to be concluded on that? I mean, that's just there, right?
I think by the height of his power, Flameheart had most of the skeletons on board with him, and humans as well. The skeletons are humans, but non-skeletons, fleshies. I just think that's just a point in the lore. I think most of them are just loyal to Flameheart.
Yeah, but not all.
It makes sense. You'd go with the most powerful guy that doesn't shun you outright, wouldn't you? Because the regular people shun the skeletons. So where else would you go? Most powerful guy that you might survive.
Yeah, I think that's just background lore thing. I don't think we will see skeleton factions fighting each other. And don't forget, like the original revive Grey Matter was just a way to test the Sea of the Damned connection for Flameheart's potential resurrection.
Yes, true. No. You're thinking of something else. So Festival of the Damned, then it was Fort of the Damned.
Yeah.
And then it was what was it called? Was it Return of the Damned? Yeah, it was Return of the Damned, where the skeletons were trying to revive Grey Marrow in 2020.
Oh, okay, and those were loyal to Grey Marrow.
They were loyal to Grey Marrow because he was meant to fight Flameheart.
Yeah, which I knew because I said the original resurrection. I just want to throw him some lore for the listeners, right?
Oh, fair enough. I'll wind my neck in.
All right. But yeah, I don't think we'll see those factions return at all.
No. Ancient Prisoner.
Which we might think is the Orb.
Yeah, but the Orb is loyal to Flameheart, not forced to be loyal to Flameheart.
Okay.
I thought it would be the Great Warrior before he got revived. That would make a lot of sense, but I think that's going to be just swept under the rug as well.
I think so too. Man, it's weird. Like in a few years, we look back at the adventure era of Sea of Thieves, and how it didn't make sense at all.
Do you remember as well with Return of the Damned that Chris wrote that blog post about how Flameheart may have plans that even the servant doesn't know about, sort of implying that he might betray the servant.
I do remember.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere, is it?
No.
Junior.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like tweeting stuff that sounds exciting, but
Junior is second in command. I think out of anyone, for Flameheart to respect, it would be the Servant of the Flame. I don't think he would betray the Servant. I don't think that's in his nature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe we'll get more information about their relationship when he comes back. Who knows?
Who knows? Probably not. I'm so jaded about the lore at the moment, but whatever. Thank you for that, Gio.
Thank you.
The next one comes from Deep A Pooper. Do you think Flameheart will be resurrected?
Sorry, what?
Do you think Flameheart will be resurrected?
Is that it? There's no more context.
No, that's it. That's it.
He already has been.
He already has been. Yeah, we just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
he has been. I'm doing the quotation marks now. He's back. He's away
I think
finding the
he's,
secrets of the ancients that we'll just have to do the dirty work anyway.
I think he means like will we see him in the flesh or in the
Oh,
bone?
yeah, for sure. We'll see him.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
interested to see if that if the cards do pertain to that, and they can't do this now because they've said he's already back. But imagine if you could go to the Reaper's hideout and you see him being brought back, sort of like a
Hmm.
live event. Um,
Yeah.
or just put it in a trailer. That would be cool.
Hmm.
Because it could be a flashback then.
Yeah. I think trailer would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one comes from Mr. Thrice. As we have the Burning Blade rebuilt as a Manowar, do you think the Athenas will also have one in the future, like a rebuilt Magpie's Wing? Or do you think this is exclusive to Flameheart and for winning Return of the Damned?
We covered this, didn't we?
Yeah, we covered this.
It would be cool to see the shoe on the other foot, but since it seems like it's a reward, would that be fair? I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't say it was reward. Like I said before, like if I feel this was already planned regardless of Return of the Damned, or it happened not as a direct result of us winning Return of the Damned. So it would be really dishonest if they were to say it was before Return of the Damned. But we still need something else, or maybe we won't get it. Maybe it's on the rug as well. Do I think Athena should get one? I don't think so. No. This is a Reaper World event. There you go. Athena can have something else.
Yeah, it just would be
Um,
as impactful if it was just a copy and paste world event. You could just do it from the other perspective.
yeah, and have some ghosts instead of skeletons. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and
No.
Burning Blade is the most legendary ship on the seas. Like you can't really top that, can you?
Salty Hippo, maybe.
It's not on the seas anymore, mate. Well, technically the Burning Blade isn't, but it will be. But yeah, not on those seas anyway. In Treasure Trove Cove, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't think so. We will see it, and I also don't want it.
I don't want that shit. I don't want to see it. I don't want it. Captain
All right.
Blubber, Athena fan supreme.
Well, yeah, I am, but just give us something else. All right. The last question comes from Yuzuki, if I pronounce that right. Question for next podcast. Do you think the developers saved some features from 2023 to keep new PlayStation players engaged in 2024? And if so, do you think it was the right decision? Why or why not?
Yes and no. To answer those questions respectively.
All right, elaborate.
Very selfish point, just to preface that. Very clear that a lot of the team were working on a PS5 port last year, because Microsoft would have, given the go ahead, or you all fucking do this PS5 port because we want money. And I won't use the term suffered, but we had the worst year for Sea of Thieves because there weren't enough resources to support the game. Hence why other companies were onboarded a lot during last year. Along with anything else Rare's got going on. Was it right for your loyal players to have an underwhelming year by all accounts and put pressure on the dev team because you're chasing more money and potentially holding back features for those PS5 players? No, it was not right.
Okay. If they mentioned it or were a little bit more open about it, I think it would have been a bit better. Like saying it would be a slow year, but that's you don't want to kill yourself in the promotion department, right?
No, of course, and it's not. I have no ill will against Rare because they do what their publisher tells them to. But I do think it's very greedy of Microsoft not to put the game on PS5 because that's a great thing for players. It's a great thing for shareholders. Don't get me wrong, but it's not fair that your actual product for people who are already invested in your ecosystem and your games, for them to have an off year and then put pressure on your developers because they get all the shit. It's not Microsoft that gets the shit from us. It's Rare that does it, and then turn out and say, "Oh yeah, it's coming to PS5," and that's why it's been a slow year, and not say anything about it.
Same with the cosmetics, right?
What cosmetics? Sorry.
Well, we at the end of just before the PlayStation 5 launch, we get a recolor cosmetic in the Emporium.
Oh yeah, good point. Very obvious that's being done to tide over till the PS5 launch.
Yeah.
It wasn't even needed because the Halo one's in there. We don't need cosmetics in the Pirate Emporium every month. I know, great for shareholders, and it supports the servers, and it tells Microsoft, yeah, carry on developing for Sea of Thieves, and Rare gets funding for that. But people, don't know. Yeah, that's just such a weird thing to do. Recolors, and it's not even cheaper either.
Yep, it's true. All right. So thanks, Suzuki. We do think they kept the content behind.
God, that's put a damper on a podcast. That is, shouldn't do. I
can brighten it up.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, and I had to, think about that and vocalize that.
Yeah, shall I brighten it up?
Please do.
PlayStation 5 players also get new cosmetics that we can't have.
I want to hear your opinion on this because I need to collect myself. No, it's not that bad. I promise you.
No, it's not that bad. Like, I am a little bit disappointed that it is the Ruby Stinger or whatever it's called. It's a silver blade reskin. The Ruby looks way better than the Sapphire Blade stuff. I'm miffed about that. I'm not miffed about them getting exclusive cosmetics. We've been getting exclusive cosmetics for 6 years now. Like, we have cosmetics that the PlayStation players won't earn ever in their playtime. So I think if they step in, they get a nice reward. I'm totally fine with it. I'm just miffed that it is a recolor of the silver blade. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks that they're really cool.
It sucks that they're really cool.
So I'm okay with exclusive cosmetics. I always have been. But I do agree with Blubber that it's kind of funny that they get a really cool set that, unless you buy the PS5 version, you're not going to get otherwise.
Yeah.
I can see why that's a bitter pill to swallow. But to counteract your point, Blubber, this was an Xbox Game Studios game, and it was on day one on PC and an Xbox. Just like I use this opinion, if you're not interested in Sea of Thieves enough to buy the game, it's okay that we add exclusive cosmetics, and that shouldn't be used as a bargaining chip to say that it's okay for PS5 to have exclusives. I don't think that's the right way of justifying that, to be fair. I think it's fine that they have an incentive to play the beta and pre-order. But just because we've had them for 6 years, it's only a very recent thing that Microsoft are willing to give up the console race and chase money by putting all their games on PlayStation.
Yeah, and Switch too, maybe.
It'll be Switch 2 as well. I have no doubts this game is going to be on Switch 2. I think it wasn't announced because they delayed the Switch 2.
I'm really, really excited for that because it opens up the possibilities for, Donkey Kong Country cosmetics, for example.
No, it's not happening.
But it could.
Microsoft gives out all their games, right? Xbox and PC do not get anything back. I hope you understand that.
Let me be hopeful, mate. We live in hope. We live in hope.
If it was going to be any company that gives Microsoft that, it would be Nintendo, right? This is Nintendo we're talking about. Licensing their IPs out to an Xbox game. Disgusting. We'll have Banjo-Kazooie though in Smash. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, so I know. I'm still hopeful. Still hopeful.
Xbox will not get anything because they are not in a position to bargain. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm putting a dampener on your mood now.
You are. I wanted to end positively, but oh well. Just have to find a different co-host for that.
If it comes into the Emporium, I will buy them for you. I'll give you the money. That's how confident I am.
Okay. Well,
do we have a deal?
We do have a deal. Yes.
Anyone, you can remind me at the time, is going to be immortalized in this podcast.
That'll be exclusive for Switch owners. And that'll still be set. That will be really nifty if that were to be the case. Oh.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hippos, only for Switch version.
Only Captain Blubber ship set. Blubber moves to Switch 2 port exclusively.
Well, if I can port over my arena accommodations, I might just do it. All right, I think that was the last question. So thanks again for those that submitted their questions. And again, make sure to join the Salty Hippo Discord if you want to submit your own. I always post an announcement for when we are close to recording a new episode. But not next episode, we won't have questions for that one. So we have come to the end of this podcast, but before you go, I want to remind you that this podcast is also on Spotify and Amazon, so if that's more convenient for you, you can listen to us there. Keep in mind that new episodes premiere on YouTube first and will be on Spotify and Amazon a while later. And you can also follow us on Twitter at BestCOT Podcast. I don't even know if you use that Twitter, but do we?
Yes. Yes is the question.
Yes is the answer.
And it's also a lie, but yes is the answer.
But you can follow us there. The link is in the description. What you can also find in the description is a link to AShinyRay's channel. That one does get updated. And also feel free to share your thoughts on the preview event in the comments. We do read all of them. But this is the end of this episode. If you did listen to the end, you are more deserving of love and ancient coins. So thanks again and take care.
Take care, guys.